think we are live. Hello, hello, Internet. I think you can see us now. Welcome to episode 2 of Cold Iron. You'll notice that everything is different now. There is a different Dungeon Master and new players, and that's because, as we mentioned in episode 1, Cold Iron is a bit different from other games. There's actually 2 alternating campaigns that take place all in the same story and setting, but that are going to be intertwining in different ways and alternating on Saturday. So last Saturday was the Winter Oak group, a town called Winter Oak, and as our hold screen showed, this is called a train called Progress. So while Winter Oak is dealing with the incursion of strange city folk, these players here will be playing the strange city folk, entering into the forest on a brand new train called Progress, which is like a little traveling World's Fair that's filled with all kinds of city comforts. And yeah, it's exciting to be here. Alicia says she can hear us, so that's good.
Perfect.
I think what we're going to do quickly is get everyone to introduce themselves. I'm Jordan. I am the Dungeon Master for this half of the Cold Iron game. You can catch me running Lost on the Great Road on Deck of Many every other Monday. That's a Planescape campaign that I run. I'm also on Deck of Many drawing new monsters and stuff all the time. The Deck of Many is one of our sponsors, believe it or not. They're right here. This is the NPC deck, and they're just little reference cards for D&D. We have an animated spell card Kickstarter coming up soon, which I will have more information for on my Twitter. All right, so who wants to go next? Katie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is obviously Katie. I will be playing Lunabelle. She's a gnome wizard, and yeah.
Cool. Do you have an internet handle that you like to share?
Oh, sure. You can find me at KSET, either on Twitch or pretty much anywhere, Steam, wherever else you are hanging out.
Perfect. All right, next up, we'll go to Emily. I'll just circle around here.
I'm Emily. I'm playing Anna Sinclair, a human rogue, and you can find me on Twitter at It's Nemily.
Cool. And then next up is Jess.
Hi, I'm Jess, online at go_JG. In this game, I'm playing Thalira Leafwalker, but everyone just calls me Walker. I am a ranger, and excited to play. Yay.
And then, last but not least, we have Miss Alicia Pastiche, whose character is a little secretive right now. She'll be introduced maybe, hopefully quickly in the first little bit of the game. But Delicia, if you want to just quickly introduce yourself, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Delicia. I'm playing Sierra. I'm a human. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram and all those good things at Delicia Pastiche.
Yeah, you are a human. Don't let anyone tell you any different. So, I guess we will begin. I am desperately trying to pretend that I'm ready. So, a little backstory about what's been going on, all right? The city of Bellisk sits on this large frozen continent called the Frostfell, and it is a huge towering metropolis. It's 7 large towers that are dozens of stories tall, and basically, if you want to think of city blocks, they've cut out the city blocks and just stack them on top of each other like sandwiches, or like a cake, I guess is what I meant to say. Instead of building out and sprawling, they've gone up. And about a month ago, the government started posting that a new train expedition was heading into the north, and that they were looking for people who'd be interested in forging a new path for the city. Now, Lunabelle and Anna, you were both recruited for work-related reasons, traveling with the wizards that are doing research on the strange things they're expecting to find up there. Walker, you bought a ticket, so you are amongst the passengers You have your reasons to be up there, and they will be revealed through time. The train, this is actually the second train you've been on in the past 2 weeks. The first train is the only one that's existed up until now, which connects the city of Bellisk to the mountains. And then from there, you hopped off of that train and hopped on to Progress, a brand new cutting-edge steam engine that is currently making its way down the last little bit of the bridge, the long sloping ramp down from the mountains. You've been informed that you are going to be stopping and being able to stretch your legs in a couple of hours. Rumor has, not a lot of information gets back to you about what the train, the direction of the train and things like that. So you don't really know exactly what stopping entails, but the rumor is that you're meeting up with another train that is going to be attached to the end that has been laying down track just really quickly to give Progress enough room to kind of park for a bit. And that you're about 2 hours out from that is what you've been informed. Now, while the train is moving, you I'll share a picture with you guys, but you are kind of stuck between the day car, which is where you can sit and look out the windows and looks most like a regular passenger car. Next behind that is the observation car, which is actually mostly windows and glass, and you can sit there and watch wilderness go by, or you're currently a couple hundred feet off the ground and slowly descending, so there isn't a lot of surface to look at, but there is still a pretty scenic view of the mountains. Behind that is the dining car, which is use is obvious. We're going to start there with you all eating, the three of you kind of all enjoying some lunch. Dinner. Behind that's the commissary, the little store where you can sort of stock up on a few soap and necessary items. And then behind that are the 3 passenger sleepers. And it's basically those 7 cars are the only ones you can move between. And when you move between cars, obviously you're out in open air temporarily. Those are the only ones you can really move between while you're moving. So if you're not, basically, unless you started in the lab car when the train started moving, you can't get there without climbing over the roof, which is a highly unrecommended activity. So, right. Lunabelle, Anna, and Walker. You are in the dining car, which is kind of just sort of booths with simple tables. Basically, there's no real way to sit alone. You will have to sit either with strangers or try and arrange things because there's a lot of people. Passenger-wise, there are beyond just you. There's another dozen people who are just traveling. They're all various walks of life. There's one family, a mother, father, and child. They're human, and they just seem to be joining for the adventure of it all. And that family is sitting off on one side and is chewing on their meal. It's actually not too bad. They cooked up they gave you a choice of steak or fish, and you had a side, an option of a salad on the side or soup, and yeah. So right now you're all sitting in the dining car, chowing down or not. Walker, what are you up to right now in the dining car?
I think I'm most familiar at this point with Lunabelle. So I'd probably go collect my food and then go over, say, "Hey there, Lunabelle, can I sit down with you?"
So,
go
ahead.
Sure. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, oh, sure, please do.
So the passenger car actually has wait staff, or the dining car. So they take your order and they bring food over to you. This is actually quite a nice ride. They have tried to spare no expense when it came to how things actually, the comfort levels of people. You don't have a lot of space, but the space that you do have is comfortable. All right, so Walker, you've sat down with Lunabelle, Anna, what are you doing right now?
I also go sit with Lunabelle because I don't know really too many other people, but I'm very distressed that there's no designated soup spoon for my soup. Like it's a nice car, but it's not like that nice, and I'm a little.
So are you complaining
I'm looking.
You're
Well,
complaining to the
more,
waiter right now?
Well, I'm more at like where's the soup spoon? This is like, how am I supposed to eat my soup if I don't have the right color?
So the awkward young waiter says, that's your spoon right there. It's a spoon.
Yeah, but this is a dessert spoon. I need a soup spoon. I ordered soup.
Okay. Well, I'll be right back. And he grabs the spoon and he walks away with it. Anna, have you met Walker yet?
I think we would have had like introductions through Lunabelle.
You know, it'd be a good time now is maybe everyone describe what their characters look like. So Anna, what does your character look like?
She's like average height. Like, I kind of picture her, like Ann Perkins from The Office. No, from Parks and Rec. Kind of like brown hair, brown eyes, light dark skin, kind of like dressed a little formally for an expedition, but still comfortable.
Do you have any evidence of the work you've been doing with you?
I have a notebook and a pen, or like an ink, or a quill, I guess.
It'd still be a pen. It would be like an ink pen, yeah.
Yeah. And a couple like empty vials, I guess, just kind of clinking around in a pocket or something, because I'm a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what to do with them.
Excellent. I'm convinced. All right, Lunabelle, what do you look like?
I am, sorry, cat cameo. I am tiny. I'm a gnome. I have brightly colored hair, just because she loves to stand out and be fun and exciting. Just generally quirky, but cheerful looking, and big smile pretty much all the time. And yeah.
Cool. Well, there is one other strange thing about you, isn't there?
Yes. I have a familiar. Is that what you're referring to? Yes. I have a familiar, and it is the most amazing origami paper dragon made out of the pages of books.
Yeah, and so this strange little bookworm flits around while she eats. Right, and then Walker, what do you look like?
I don't think I specified. Walker is a half-elf, so she's on the taller end. She's sort of slim, but like strong and wiry. She's wearing like practical travel clothes, a lot of like leather, and then she probably has several belts with various little like pouches and things. I don't think she would have her full armory of weapons on her at this moment, but I imagine she would at least have like a hand crossbow on her side and probably a dagger, and like just always is prepared. And I would say like her hair is long and tied into like a very practical tight braid. Yeah.
Okay. So the waiter comes back with an identical spoon and puts that down right neatly beside your bowl, and he says, "I'm so sorry that happened. I went and I requested a soup spoon, and this is the kitchen has assured me that this is what this is. Please enjoy your meal." And he takes off, kind of quick.
Yeah. They don't even have soup spoons here.
I can help, and I'll cast minor illusion on the spoon so it looks more like a soup spoon.
Okay.
I'm very grateful.
So I'm really classless. So is a soup spoon bigger or smaller than a dessert spoon?
Bigger. It's bigger.
Yeah, it's bigger.
Right. So as you scoop, it feels like the soup is leaking out of the bottom of the spoon and you're just getting very disoriented by it, but
my pinky is up. So
that's right. And it looks right. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, what kind of conversation are you guys having at this? This is your chance to kind of talk to each other a little bit.
Well, my familiar, similar to my cat currently, is flitting around, making it very difficult to eat or do anything, but I don't mind. And I would probably want to ask Anna if Anna, do you know if there's anything extra super fancy on the train? Because you just seem so super fancy, and I didn't know if there was anything fun and super fancy to do.
Well, I haven't really noticed. There's no real parties, but Constance, she's one of the wizards from the research team. She has a poker game every other night.
Wow.
So it's not fancy, but it's a pretty good time.
That sounds like fun. Do you win a lot?
A little bit.
Oh.
Every once in a while. And then I pull out my deck of cards and do one of those really kind of tricks.
What?
And, shuffle them and tuck them away really quick.
That's amazing.
Walker, have you participated in any of these poker games?
I mean, I think Walker would have scoped it out at first and then maybe sat down. I don't know if she has a natural aptitude for it though.
Right. Fair enough. It's at this time, actually, as though you have summoned the devil herself, that Constance, who was sitting further back in the food cart, she has obviously already had two or three glasses of wine with her dinner, and pours herself into the booth with you, and says, "I heard the cards shuffling. Are we playing right now? It seems I don't know if we should play right in the open. Then everyone's gonna want to play." You know what? Deal me in. It's fine. Let's do it. And she's fumbling for money and putting it down on the table.
Oh dear, I don't even think I know how to play. Maybe I'll just watch.
Oh, we'll teach you.
Okay.
Can I good-naturedly deal her a bad hand and then just win?
Deal Constance a bad hand?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me for our first roll of the game. Woo! Give me a sleight of hand roll.
Okay. I might need a reminder. It's D20 and then that's dexterity. Right?
Well, no. If you're using your D&D Beyond sheet, just go to your skill list, sleight of hand, and that number should have all the math in it. Yeah.
Okay. 9 plus 6, 15.
Yeah, I mean, she's inebriated. She is just excited to get... She makes a huge frown when she sees her hand. But then, tries to straighten it up. Walker, were you dealt in on this?
Yeah, I would want to be in on this.
She's just put, a copper piece onto the table. There's not a lot of money being on the line here. So what I'll get everyone to do is just to roll... just roll intelligence checks for me.
Oh, God.
Anna,
no.
Anna, you can roll with advantage.
Okay, so that means I get to roll twice, right?
Yeah, and take the highest.
Yeah, okay, good. Oh, that's even worse. Okay, so for 3.
I got a nat 1 and I have -1 intelligence.
Wow, okay. And Lunabelle, what did you get?
I got a 7.
You got a 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody's a genius.
Not the smartest wizard in the box.
So as the rest of the cards are being dealt out and the game kind of progresses a few rounds in, you realize that the hand that you dealt her was terrible, but you somehow dealt everyone else worse hands. And as the hand ends, Constance drops 3 4s down on the table, which is not that much. But the rest of you, the best any of you can muster is Lunabelle. You get two kings, and unfortunately, 3 of a kind wins. And so Constance, despite being completely inebriated and not very good at this game, scoops the four copper pieces into her pocket, and she says, "That was too easy. That felt like I was cheating."
I'm not even really sure what happened.
Yeah, I think you might have been, Constance. How drunk are you?
You know, the regular amount. What are we doing tonight?
Is the poker game still on, or?
Yeah, we could probably play it. We might be able to play it like outside the kitchen car or something, and just like have access to the booze. I think we'll be stopping soon, and then we'll be actually to stretch our legs a little bit.
Sounds good to me. What about you girls? Or girl? Is Walker a girl?
Yep.
I don't think I asked. Okay, yeah. What about you girls?
I'm in, but gosh, I really don't know what just happened, so you may have to explain to me a little more.
You got you.
Yeah, so you guys can take a little bit of time to teach her the rules. We're not going to teach that in real time, but that could be the thing we're doing for a little bit. Out the window, the ground is starting to come up more and more. You can't see very far in front of the train. The windows don't open. It is very cold most of the time on this continent, and so these the main passenger cars are heated just by some simple low-level magics that keep it warm on the inside. The day car does have like a flickering fireplace, but it's mostly an illusory effect, and the heat is coming from elsewhere. But yeah, the ground is starting to come up, and you're starting to see sparse trees. This is strange for a lot of reasons. Coniferous trees have mostly been all chopped down on the southern part of the continent to build Belisk, to fuel its engines and build its buildings. And so to see trees growing in the wild is pretty strange compared to south of the mountain, the barren, a little bit more barren plains. An hour passes, and you are going over the different poker hands with the Lunabelle and making sure that she has just enough information to play, but not enough information to be good. Well, I'm assuming that sounds what Anna would do, so based on what I know about her. And yeah, I think now, briefly, we're going to switch over to Delicia, to Sierra, and tell a little bit of her tale. So if you guys want to mute your mics or something for now, we'll switch over to Delicia and do a little roleplay with her. Hello.
Hello.
So, you have been following these tracks on the ground. You've spent a little bit of time in the mountains. You have an understanding of what a train is for the most part, and you recognize these as like minecart tracks or train tracks. The man in black has been spotted in this area recently. Some of the folks of the town that you originate from said that ever since these tracks were being built, that the man in black has been kind of more present. No one has ever been able to talk to them or get close to them. But you're following these tracks, and you come across an extremely peculiar sight. Out of the middle of the tracks, a large kind of black tree has burst up out from the tracks, and just like metal fingers has just bent the tracks as though the tree burst out of the ground almost instantaneously. As you veer off the track to kind of give this tree a wide berth, you realize that there is a mostly exploded vehicle of some kind that is slammed into this tree. Behind it is a slightly crunched up train car, and then one that's sort of not scrunched up but half on, half off the tracks. Railway ties, railway spikes scattered everywhere, bits of lumber and wood everywhere. Can you give me a perception roll, please?
Mm-hmm. $19.
Right, so you're very preoccupied with this crash, but you overhear something coming the track continues on the other side of this train, or the tree, pardon me, and you hear something kind of in the distance, not too far away, and it's something coming down the track from further down, and you look and you see just a little bit of a glimmer of a lamplight on the front of something moving. Silhouetted against it, maybe 300 feet away, 400 feet away, there is someone running with a pack over their shoulder. A vaguely humanoid shape. You lose track of them in the kind of the light of the lamp as they dash off. So we'll leave it there, and we'll go back to the other folks, and you can sort of ruminate on that. If you guys want to unmute, the rest of you want to unmute.
Yeah.
So the train now, another half an hour or so passes. The train now kind of is on solid ground, and the sparse trees are becoming a little less sparse out the windows. Occasionally you see a wild animal, a deer, run up, and then when they hear the rumbling of the tracks, the train on the tracks, they dash off. It's also getting darker. Dinner's done. It's getting to be about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the evening, and you realize that the train is starting to slow down, and you're still half an hour away from where they're supposed to be stopping. Then there's a jarring kind of jolt as the whole train, all 20-some cars of it, seem to shake, and it starts slowing down quite a bit. From somewhere in the front, from the engine, you can hear the horn being, the whistle blowing, and within minutes, the train is stopped. The maitre d' of the dining car is going up and down. It's like, it's fine. I'm sure it's just a maintenance issue. We'll be fine. Just wait here, please. Don't disembark the train. I'm sure there's nothing. Constance had a couple more glasses of wine at this point, and she's like, we should go. We should take a look. Come on.
Okay, let's go. I want to go with Constance. I want to find out.
We're only half an hour away from where we are going to be getting off the train anyway. Let's live a little. And she gets up. You can hear, just like Anna, you can hear like a little bits of scientific materials sort of rattling around in this leather lab coat that she has on. It doesn't seem like it's safe, but she doesn't seem to care. But she gets up, and then she holds her head and says, maybe I need to sit a little bit. If something fun happens, can you, I'll check in. I'll check in with I'll send someone a message, and then you guys can tell me, but I think I need to sit for a second. And she almost half passes out in the booth.
Okay, I'll tuck her in and have her. It's okay, Constance. We'll come back. We'll tell you all about it. Don't worry.
And she's like, okay, yeah.
I kind of wave down the wait stuff. You get her some water. Just bring her a glass.
Yeah, and as you're all getting up and getting ready to leave or whatever, they bring over 3 big glasses of water for her and just kind of push one as close to her as they can.
Walker is headed to the nearest door.
Yeah, so on the dining car, the main kind of travel cars that you spend while the train is moving, the only entrances and exits are actually the connections between cars. So there's little ladders that lead down to little ladders that lead down to the ground. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, the rest of the the rest of the people who are eating, half of them have gone back to their bunks. The few people that are still left, the family is gone, are kind of trying to look out the window to see what's going on. And they sort of eye you suspiciously as you start heading towards the exit. Is everyone else following, or what?
Yeah, I'm following.
Yeah, I'll follow her, and I'll sort of look around at all the passengers. I'll be like, don't worry, everyone, Inspector Luna's on the case. We will find out what is going on.
All right. You don't realize just how cold it was going to be up here as you step out of the train car, because again there was this warm hearth feeling all through the travel parts of the train anyway, and you step out into the cold night air and immediately your breath is visible in front of you. There are kind of lanterns that light up each of the cars along the way, and as you look further up towards the front of the car, you realize there are some shadowy shapes standing near the engine car. They seem to be having some kind of discussion. There's a shorter, stockier silhouette that's frustratedly like shaking their hands, but you aren't sure, what's going on. Walker, you assume that this must be the engineer, Walter, but you don't know. The person that Walter is talking to is not a recognizable silhouette from where you are. And to be fair, you are 10 cars back, so what are you doing?
I'll look back and make sure the other girls are with me, and then I'll be like, I guess let's go check that out. And start heading that way, but I'm also looking towards the trees because I'm excited to see a forest.
You can give me a little perception check. Anna and Lunabelle, you're heading down as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you're doing along the walk? It's not going to take long, a couple minutes, but...
I'm, like, just dramatically kind of, like, shivering and being cold and quietly lamenting under my breath that I should have gone back to my, like, cabin to get my furs or something.
I'll just be skipping along, like, ridiculously happily excited for where we're gonna go. And Noodle, my familiar, we'll name him Noodle. He's like following around, looking at the trees where Walker's looking, and like trying to like see if she like wants to go out in the trees on an adventure, or what we're doing and where we're going.
Okay. That makes sense. What was your perception check, Walker?
Not good. Not rolling well. 10.
Well, that's average. You do spot an owl that also spots you, slightly better than you spot it, and then it just hops up into the air and takes to the sky and flies over to the other side of the train. You guys are on the right-hand side of the train, for reference. But yeah, your eyes are still adjusting, and you're not sure what you're going to find up here, so you don't know what to look for. You start making your way down the train, and the voices start to be a little more audible, and you realize that it is, in fact, the dwarven engineer, Walter. He has kind of a deep, gruff voice, unsurprisingly. He's an older dwarf. It seems like, even for a dwarf, he's pretty old, a lot of gray in his beard. The person he's talking to, though, is a young man, very barrel-chested and broad, has, in our world, what we would call a bit of a southern drawl, and got a pack slung over his shoulder. Walter turns to look towards you as you're approaching, and he says, "You were instructed to stay on train."
Oh, were we? What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait.
This is emergency stop.
Emergency stop? That sounds exciting. What happened?
It's not exciting. It's routine. You head back to car now. Please.
Oh.
And when he says please, it's like his whole face has to contort in order to be polite. It is cold out, and it is warm in car. We will be moving soon.
Sure you don't need nothing from us?
No, I'm talking to these gentlemen. We will resolve this situation immediately, and then we will be on our way. There is no trouble at all. And at this point, the barrel-chested gentleman turns towards you. He has kind of a simple cap on, and he grabs the brim and says, "Evening, ladies. There's nothing to worry about. I'm just discussing with Walter here. I'm part of the train that was ahead, and we've just had a bit of a hiccup, so we are trying to resolve that. So you enjoy your evenings and you head back to your car now, all right?
I kind of gesture to the others. Okay, yeah, let's go. And like I want to be just sort of just out of like range of them, and then I want to sneak back around.
Okay.
And eavesdrop.
Does everyone go along with that?
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you very skillfully pretend to walk back to your passenger car, and then I'll get Anna to do a stealth roll, please.
Okay. I got 3.
So your plan was to sneak back maybe on the other side of the car, between cars, underneath the car. What's your plan?
Oh wait, I got 5. Sorry, I had to math it out.
Oh, 5. Okay. Well,
yeah, 5 makes a big difference.
That changes everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your aim here?
I kind of was wanting to try to maybe use the sparse trees to try to like, yeah, sneak around and do a very dramatic like cartoon tiptoe.
All right, so you do make your way back. You head through the woods. You have a bit of cover. There's a little bit of benefit of the doubt as to what your sounds are, but you do get a bit of the conversation. Walter is saying to this gentleman, "How can you have laid track and then have tree grow instantly through track? You are full of crap, friend. I suggest you don't try making this prank with anyone else." And then the barrel-chested gentleman says, Now, Walter, I wish it wasn't true, but something has happened to our train. We collided. I've been lost in the woods a long time." And when he says that, he's sort of wiping some sweat from his brow. Anna, kind of step on a branch, and it snaps, and they both turn to look. And Walter says, "Not very good at following instructions, huh?"
I got lost. I don't know. Where's the train? Dining car. Is it the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th? I don't know. Which one is it?
It's okay. We had a lot to drink tonight. We'll figure it out. Can you just point us in the right direction?
Oh, you were hiding there too?
Oh, I thought we were all together.
No, Anna. Sorry, Anna. I think Anna snuck ahead by herself.
Never mind.
You could poke out from wherever you were hiding and yell that awkwardly. So the engineer says, "I know you know where a dining car is. Take this man, walk with him back to passenger car. We will have the train going in no time."
All right.
So the kind of scatterbrained looking gentleman walks over to you, puts out his hand, and he says, "My name's Jonas." To Anna, sorry.
Okay. I'm Anna.
He does the kind of, if you put your hand out?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, I kind of put it out like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And despite him kind of having a gruff, he's covered in soot and not really looking like the best. He's got a double-breasted kind of coat over top that seems to be covering up some kind of bulky protection. He's got the cap and a bandana around his neck, and on his chest he actually has the symbol of Belisk, the city of Belisk, emblazoned on it. He looks a lot like some of the train workers you've seen that were loading onto Progress, except he's a lot more beat up. He takes your hand and he shakes it gently, and he says, "I don't know why he didn't believe me. I'm looking forward to having a warm place to stay, but this train isn't going to be able to move much farther past this point." And he's starting to follow you back to the other your other two friends.
So you said a tree grew out of the tracks? Do they normally do that?
My learning of this occurred after the event happened. We crashed and I ran. A few days later, I found my way back, and that's when I discovered exactly what had happened. I'm sorry, Miss Anna, I am a coward. and I ran into those woods after realizing that something disastrous had happened. But yes, it appears as though some kind of tree has burst out of the track that we had laid not a day earlier.
Are we back with Luna?
Yeah, this conversation sort of is happening as you walked back to them, and Luna and Walker, you hear most of that, the gist of that.
Luna, is that how trees work?
I mean, like, I don't see a lot of trees in Belisk, but I'm pretty sure that's how magical trees work, maybe. But not real trees. Real trees are a little smaller.
Miss,
all right,
Miss, I don't know your name, but you have pointy ears. Sorry, I don't mean to assume, but do you have any idea what could cause that? He's talking to Walker.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Well, I was gonna ask you what you guys were talking about. Tree coming up out of the track that doesn't seem. Yeah, if you laid the track, then the tree came up. That makes no sense.
It should just be a little fella, right? It should start small, at least. It shouldn't just instantly be there. Anyway.
Yeah, it was not there one day, and then it was there in the next. That's what you're saying? A full-grown tree.
It was not there 1 minute, and then it was there the next minute, as far as my understanding.
Did you...
Look, I don't know how much I should tell you. We've only just met. The last thing I heard when I left the train was someone say, "There's a child on the tracks." And then the grinding of brakes, and then the collision. I ran.
And then the child was a tree?
Again,
that's real...
I can only tell you the last thing I heard.
I kind of lean over to Lunabelle, and is that how kids work?
I mean, I don't have any kids, but I think maybe not.
Jonas says, well, I was a kid once, and I grew like a mighty oak, but it still took, 20-some years.
I kind of, like, give him, like, a, yeah, okay, kind of look.
Well, he's pretty tall. He's like 6'2". He's got kind of a gentle giant demeanor to him. It's obvious that he spends a lot of time lifting things and moving things around. He's well-spoken, but obviously a blue-collar kind of guy. By this time, you're back to the passenger car, if that's where you were heading.
Okay, I'm not getting it. You're on a train full of people. You crashed. You found a tree several days later because you came back. Where's everyone else?
I searched the site. I had a strange run-in with some beasts. I had made some... Well, I hesitate to call them friends, but I did find some acquaintances that kept me alive after wandering through the woods. I helped them dispatch the beasts. They looked like wild boar, but they behaved otherwise. I spent a little bit of time trying to find my friends, but there was nobody there. I'm worried that they're food for the carrion birds now.
Oh my goodness.
Do any of these folks seem like the kind of people that could magic a tree onto a track?
Oh, no. It was just the engineer and their main fuel stoker. There was only the three of us. I was there. I was in the last car making sure that all of our tools and equipment were in good order so that we could get the next set of track done. And then I felt the impact of the collision, but I ran into the woods. I only discovered that it was the train that we crashed into, or the tree, pardon me, that we crashed into, but that was like days later. I'm just putting two and two together on this. We may have hit something else, but there's a tree there now. Are you guys entering into the passenger train? What's your plan here?
Yeah, I assume after that we would have gone back in.
Sure. Jonas kind of hesitantly steps in and just grabs the first. Are you guys going back to the food train? Do you want to go to the day car? Where are you going?
I kind of still want to look out at the forest, but
we could go to the observation car.
Yeah, the observation car would actually gives you a view down the train. So at the very least, you can see what's on top as well. It's basically just a big glass bubble that you ride in to watch stuff. So yeah, you make it up into there. It's actually not very busy. It's usually during the day that people are in there. It's 2 levels, so there's the bubble level, and then the lower level it just has nice big windows. So you head up to the front, and as you sit down, steam is starting to come out of the front, the engine, and the slow movement of the train building up starts moving forward. Jonas says, we're going to be stopped in another 10 minutes.
Well, as long as we don't crash.
No, I should hope that Walter is keeping an eye out for what I described to him. He seemed pretty skeptical that such a thing would happen.
So if you thought about cutting down the tree to keep going?
I had to grab this pack. We have equipment that could potentially do it, but it would take quite a while. If you get to see this tree, you'll understand it is very big.
We have a lab in the back of this train. I'm sure one of the researchers could whip up a little explosive-y something.
Well, I hate to sound like a simpleton, but I don't know anything about all of that. I trust you. I mean, this is progress, right? And he's looking around. This is supposed to be the the engineering feat of all time. So, sure. It's self-sustaining. It should be able to lay track faster than we ever could. So hopefully there's something on board that can get rid of that tree, and then bend the track back into shape and make the track secure.
Constance probably has it once she sobers up.
Yeah, and even from the dining car, which is the next one down, you hear some like loud snoring echoing down from the dining car. So we're gonna switch back to Sierra brief again here. That light that has been traveling is starting to get closer and closer. And then you watch it stop, and it stops while you're watching for maybe 10 minutes, and then slowly starts picking up again. And now it's coming in fast. It's starting to get very close. And can I get a perception check from you?
Nine.
Okay. The light starts to get very bright, and even though it's still maybe 100 feet away, it's coming in quickly. You step aside, and with about 60 feet of track, 70 feet of track, Sierra, you hear it, and then everyone on board hears and feels it as Walter has clearly yanked the brakes as hard as he can, as he has witnessed, obviously, something on the track. There isn't a collision, but the train pushes into the last car of the crash site ahead, and with a thunderous sound, tips it over, and the contents of the car spill out onto the side of the track. And it's a calamitous sound. It's, again, railway ties, equipment, camping tents, a bunch of stuff just all spills out the side. There's even the sound of some glass and things smashing, presumably preserves and basic foodstuffs for the train crew. On board progress, it's your whole body shifts. Like your innards shift as you like feel the brakes get tossed on. Your car bumps into the front car, and there is a bunch of forward and back swaying as the car finally the whole train slows down. And the whole time there's this god-awful screech until from somewhere up at the front there's a thud and a slow roll to a stop.
That sounded good.
What's everyone doing?
So they've stopped.
Yeah.
I want to look for somewhere to maybe hide, because I assume there's people that are going to get out of this train pretty quickly.
Sure. So there is a ton of debris that you hide inside of. The tipped over train car is open, so you could just duck into there.
Yeah, because I feel like I could hear things from there.
Yeah. I would let you do that without a problem. Anybody on the train wouldn't be able to see you right away because they'd be focusing on either making sure there's no more crashing happening or further back on the train. So if you want to duck into that last train car that just tipped over.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then onboard progress. What's everyone doing now? You look out the windows of the car, the observation car, and you see people are getting out of the train.
All right, we have to go see what's happening.
Yeah, that did not sound very good at all. Not good. Not one bit. We should get out.
I told Walter I did that there was a crash up ahead, and he did not listen to me. I'm gonna have words with that dwarf.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Jonas. Hopefully we can do something to help.
It's Mr. Casey, if you want to be formal, but Jonas is fine. So Jonas hops out of his seat and starts heading down, kind of leading the way. You notice that he's got railway ties in the, railway spikes, pardon me, about a handful of them in the pockets of his that big overcoat that he has. And so they kind of clank around as he, not running, but, you know, a swift jog to the exit and hopping down off the train. Are the three of you following?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
As you get out of the train, Walter's cursing can be heard echoing down from the engine car. I thought it was prank. I thought it was a prank. Lie of these workers. They're always telling jokes. And so as you were approaching, another figure gets out of the car, the engine car, and you recognize them as the elf Fennel. She has a very calm demeanor, very, very friendly, and she puts an arm on his shoulder, and you can hear her as you're approaching say, "Don't worry, we'll sort this out, Walter. It'll be fine. It's just the first of probably many hiccups." And she turns and she says, "Oh, the cavalry is already here, you see? So it'll be fine." And so as the three of you approach, this is the scene, or four of you, I guess, with Jonas. This is the scene that you come across. Walter immediately walks up to Jonas and taps him in the chest with two fingers and says, "How come you tell me that it wasn't a joke? I thought it was a joke. Why didn't you tell me it wasn't a joke? Now we have problem. This is your fault." And Jonas says, "Try to explain what you were going to come across, Walter, but you didn't listen. I can't see how this is my fault." He's like, "It's your fault, strange man. And you, out of the train again." And he faces the three of you. "What is so exciting outside a train? Train is the best place to be."
Well, Walter, everyone was getting out, and there was kind of a big, large crash, and we were just kind of worried, so we just came out to see.
Everyone got out? And as he looks past you, a lot of the passengers and people are getting out. "No!" And he starts yelling, "Get back in train! Oh, no. Where is Wendell? He's supposed to be making sure everything goes safe. Oh, no. I need to check what's going on here." And Walter starts heading towards the debris. Fennel, the elven woman, who's wearing kind of a more flowy version of the Bellis kind of worker uniform, and overall and stuff, comes over and says, "I'm sorry, this train's his baby, and it being on time is very important to him, and I wish he had mentioned that he had run into you, sir." And she gestures to Jonas on the track. He didn't fill me in on what was going on. I might have been able to convince him to be a little more careful. So Sierra, you hear most of this conversation from where you are, because this train, the engine of the train is like right up against. And now there's heavy footfalls as the dwarven man is approaching the tipped over car.
Well, fuck.
He starts yelling for survivors. He says, "Is anyone alive on this wreck?"
I'm just gonna kind of cough a bit, like.
Okay.
Hello?
I hear you. Are you survivor?
I mean, I'm speaking to you, so Yes.
I understand that you are not dead, but were you on this train when it crashed?
Yes, yes.
Well, all right. What happened?
I know as much as you. We were on the train 1 minute and just bang, shaking.
Are you like revealing yourself at this point?
No. Just making noise, like
You're just talking from
indicating to him
inside?
that it was like really loud.
Yeah,
Like it was just.
it echoes around quite a bit. He says,
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
If you are on this train, then you are employee of City of Belisk, so please, reveal yourself and report in.
I was there to assist the sheriff. I was new. Just recently arrived. But I think everyone else is gone.
The sheriff of where? Get out of that box!
Sir,
Please.
I'll climb out of the box, but...
I don't like talking to weird, echoey ghost.
I'll just climb out of the box and raise my hands up, like...
Okay. So do you want to describe yourself a bit now that you are kind of in view of folks?
Yeah, just pretty tall, like 5'10", dark hair, dark eyes, like tan skin, fairly strong looking, like it's evident that this is a person who maybe like keeps themselves in shape.
Do you have what's your outfit look like?
Long leather coat, fairly dusty, looks like she's on the road a lot. Probably have sort of like a pack nearby that I've dropped before heading into this metal box.
Right, okay. You are assisting sheriff of where?
Do you want me to make up names for this town?
Sure.
Fort Smith.
Right. Well, I was not aware for us to have rendezvous with any kind of town. So you were on board as guide?
No, I'm no bureaucrat. I'm not sure I was around. I think we were there to learn from your local security. We're thinking of sending some people out from our city, and it's always good to learn from the best.
Right. So why were you in train?
What do you mean? Why was I in the?
You were conversing with train people. Is that what you were saying?
The people on the train, I'm confused, but they had gone ahead, right?
Yeah.
And
there's 3 people on the train. I guess.
Oh, I'm totally off with my lies here because I was confused.
So this train was like sorry, this might be my fault. The train was like a leader fish. It was going down the lay tracks. It was a very small skeleton crew. Yeah. So you can roll back what you were saying because you had the wrong information. So as you pop out, what do you say to him?
Sorry. I think I'm just gonna act confused.
Okay. Were you on this train when it crashed? Are you injured?
No, I'm fine. I've just been camping here. It's been cold, and this is offering me some warmth at night. I was just sleeping out the night here.
He turns to Jonas and says, "The crash, it happened recently, or you said days ago? This is just squatter?"
Hey now.
Walter turns to Anna, Lunabelle, and Walker and says, "How come you still stand here? Go."
Saw something interesting going on over here.
There's nothing interesting. Strange person live in crashed train car. Happens all the time. Standard train stuff. Go back to passenger car.
Are they one of ours? Who are they?
No, confused local. You're going to meet a lot of confused locals.
Easy friend. They just want some information. They're curious.
You, small lady. He gestures to Lunabelle. You're friends with, You're friends with Fija, right?
Yes.
Can you, scurry off and go get Fija to take a look, see if we can get this tree out of the way?
My legs are kind of short, but they would move a lot faster if you let me meet this lady, and then I would go get fidget for you.
That's why I described movement as scurry and not, like, long stride. You want to meet this strange lady?
Yes, I want to meet the strange lady, and then I
Well-
will go get fidget right away.
Small lady meets strange lady. Strange lady meets small lady. Why is this matter? Train
Hello,
is stopped
strange
and our
lady.
schedule is now 20 minutes behind.
I think you're gonna be awfully longer than 20 minutes. This is a big tree.
Alright, everyone stay here. I'll go get Fija. And he starts scurrying off towards the Tinker car, which is about 6 cars down.
Excellent scurrying, Mr. Walter.
Yeah. So, what's everyone doing now? There is this woman in a duster who has popped her face out of the boxcar.
Yeah, crawl out of the boxcar.
Right, I
Are
guess.
you
So, yeah.
okay? Were you in the crash?
No, this is, I guess, like a. I were used to seeing like a hobgoblin.
There's no hobgoblin. She's a gnome.
Oh, she's a gnome. Sorry.
Yeah.
Are we used to seeing this?
Gnomes aren't uncommon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. He's a rude one, isn't he?
Yeah, super rude, but we're really nice. And how'd you end up here if you weren't in the crash?
I tend to travel alone, and I was out hunting.
Oh, that must be so sad to be all alone.
It's not so bad. I take it you don't do that too often.
No, never. You wouldn't catch me alone. This is my friend Anna, and this is my other friend Walker, and we're always together on the train, and we eat dinner together, and we hang out, and you could be our friend.
Whoa. It's very nice of you. I've probably got to continue on my way, though.
Oh.
So, the elf Fennel has moved forward and is kind of working her way through the debris alongside Jonas, who is kind of gesturing at different things. He's picking through some of the stuff that is in the car that's been knocked over and trying to salvage a few things that seem good. So they've moved on towards the crash. What are you four doing?
It's really nice to meet y'all, but I kind of want to go see this tree.
Yeah, I definitely want to look at this tree.
I kind of pull out one of my vials from my pocket. I gotta collect some samples for Professor Syracuse, so this weird tree.
It's a good thing you're doing your job, Anna, because I don't care about the job. I just want to go see this tree.
So the four of you start heading down this crash site, and when you get up to the front, obviously Sierra, you've seen this already, but as you get up to the front, you see that the engine car had been completely just tin can crushed in, and then something inside of it exploded out, and splinters of metal are just like everywhere. Some of them are stuck into trees not far away from the track. Something devastating blew up inside of this thing and when it collided. And when you get to the very front, you see this large oak tree. It's probably about 15 feet like wide. It's burst up from the track, and it's bare. There are no leaves on the tree. Its bark is like black, and it towers over you guys. It's maybe it's probably 40 feet tall, 4 stories, and it just has these forking branches that are spindly, spindly, and very like kind of ominous, very ominous looking. The tree looks dead or petrified or both, from looking at it.
This is not a baby tree.
I pull out my dagger from my boot and just start trying to like get some of the bark into the vial, but very messily. And
yeah, you pull a piece of bark away, and it crumbles into kind of like a dust very quickly, and then you get that into your container, and then a little bit of like black as pitch kind of sappy goo starts dripping down the side of the tree.
Ew.
It's moving really slow.
I put it in another one of my vials. It's sticky.
These are glass vials that you're using?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you put the glass vial underneath it, it starts to kind of eat away a little bit at the glass.
Oh.
The container is not going to hold it for very long. You do know, or maybe you don't know, but Lunabelle would know that there are some containers for more corrosive materials back at the research car. So you can always come back. What's everyone else doing? Sierra, what are you doing right now?
What does it smell like? I feel like it'd be like looking around, maybe taking some of the provisions that were like busted out, packing them up.
Give me a perception check.
11.
You get a smell of a sickly sweet kind of nature as you approach the tree. You know, the smell of dead plants sometimes smells good in a bad way or bad in a good way, you know, one of those two. But other than that, there's a little bit of like smoke smell in the air left over from whatever was burning in the engine of this the wreck, but it's faded. Like, there's no heat coming off of anything anymore, but there's still that little bit of burnt material smell, you know, scorched metal and burning wood. Lunabelle, what are you doing?
I'm kind of watching Anna as she's taking these samples. And do I see the like goofy stuff messing up the blocks? Then I'll ask her, hey Anna, do you need me to send Noodle to go get something so you can put that in?
Is this not gonna work?
And like while you're holding it, Anna, it's dissolving in your hand, and you actually just have to like drop it to the ground as it eats away the rest of the glass.
Ooh, that doesn't look very good. We should be careful. Do you want me to send Noodle to get you something really special?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll turn to Noodle and I'll sort of like explain to him what I need in sort of like a picture brain format, and he can go grab it.
So since Noodle is like a small little dragon formed out of folded papers, the text on Noodle's surface changes for the task at hand, and so it actually changes to sort of like little diagrams of various different containers that kind of float over top, scientific materials that float over top of it as its little wings kind of stretch out and flaps. And it sounds like a book being flipped through. That's the sound that Noodle's wings make. And so, he, she, they, does it matter?
Definitely he.
Okay. So he takes off towards the lab cars to retrieve something that can contain some corrosive materials.
Good boy, Noodle. Thank you.
That's fancy.
Yeah, I mean, this is a marvel. That is not something you see all the time. So, Walker, what are you up to?
I'm looking around. I think since Anna already went ahead and like started carving, like I think that Walker would have gone to investigate the tree, but since Anna's already like getting it and pulling it away, like she's like, hey.
She's got it. She's up there. She's stabbing it.
Yeah, oak resin isn't corrosive, and like, can I like look around and like, You said it's all coniferous trees, so this is one giant deciduous tree. There's nothing else like that around whatsoever.
That you can see, yeah.
Okay. Like, this is all real weird, guys. This isn't making any sense.
So, Fennel sees you sort of eyeing the tree and steps beside you. It's been a while since you've probably seen a full-blown elf, and this one is very willing to be elfy in her demeanor and look. It's clear that she has some kind of hide clothing on underneath the overalls. Her hair is kind of braided with some small plants and flowers and things. Very frowned upon in the city limits, but not frowned upon, but looked on as, come on, try and fit in just a little, is what people would say. She steps up beside you and she says, so what do you reckon about this?
It's not normal.
No, it's not. And she puts her hand up on the tree, and immediately pulls it back. It's like it pained her. There's a little flare of magic energy on her hand as she touches the tree, and she pulls back and she says, "No, this is a cursed thing." She kind of takes a few steps back and is standing behind you, Walker.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking around for any sign of where this could have come from, because I can tell that this is so many levels of abnormal.
How is your Arcana skill? Actually, how's your nature skill? Probably your nature skill is pretty good, right?
My survival is okay. My nature ain't great, but I can roll. Oh, but the dice has been nice to me today. Oh, 18.
Yeah, so obviously, with just looking at it, you know that this is not a normal tree. The earth around the base where the roots are, so normally when a tree grows, it very organically leaves the earth, and there is no kind of interruption of the flow, right? It just kind of grows up out of the ground. The dirt slowly settles around it. In this case, it's like you've seen some small burrowing animals burst out of the ground at a high speed from their tunneling, and that's kind of the kind of idea, is that you can kind of verify Jonas's story that this tree must have appeared in less than a minute's time, just based on the scatter of the dirt all over the place. This thing burst, fully formed out of the ground. Sierra, what are you doing right now? Skulking around?
No, I was stealing food, but...
Right, yeah, okay. Yeah, you get 4 or 5 packs of rations from this. It's not fancy. It's hardtack and for simple living, some dried meat and that kind of thing. But it's all stored really well. They're in cans.
Whoa.
Well, that's not something you get much out here. Usually you have to eat it within a day of preparing it, or it's not good anymore. So these will last you a little while.
Can I do an Arcana check?
Yeah, if you want to wander over to the tree, sure.
Okay. 14.
Something about the tree comes across as it not being organic. It looks like a tree, but you wonder if it's falsified in some way. At this point, Jonas walks up beside you. He's gathered up a bunch of the rations himself, and he takes a couple and he's like, "You can never have too many," and he hands them over to you, Sierra.
Oh. Give him a little bow.
That's quite
very appreciative.
That's quite the duster you have there. I'm jealous.
Oh, thank you. It was my dad's.
Huh. Well, I find it probably looks better on you.
It's very kind of you, sir.
What is? Sorry, go ahead.
What's your role here?
I am a survivor of this crash.
Oh dear.
I seem to be the only one. I help lay track. It's pretty much all I'm good for. This is my first job and probably my last. We would travel along, lay some track, travel along, lay some track. We had retreated some in order to meet up. We needed to get to a certain point along the track in order to meet up with progress when it arrived. Our goal was just to join the caravan, as it were. But as we were moving forward along the track we had laid, this collision occurred, and now I'm not sure of anything anymore. So my role notwithstanding.
Very sorry that they'll surely keep you employed. This wasn't your fault.
Yeah, I feel like Walter might try and spin it a different way. He leans into you, leans in towards you, and says, "I met some strange folk in these woods. You seem like you didn't travel with the train. Have you encountered any unusual folk?"
You'd have to be a little bit more specific.
Angry people. They seem to have a... I'm asking you specifically because they seem to have a disgust for the humankind. They didn't injure me or harm me, but they also did not aid me in any... Well, that's not true. One of them was kind enough to heal me when I was injured, but have you run into anyone like this? Living in the woods like wild animals?
I mean, you come across all types of people throughout your life.
It's true.
I haven't recently come across anyone.
I guess the term I'm looking for is woodsy folk, you know? Less formal like you and me.
No, I haven't run into anyone.
Okay.
Is there somewhere I should be avoiding?
Honestly, I don't even know how I stumbled on them. And then their first thing to do was to immediately march me away from where they were. So, I'm just curious. You seem like you've been wandering up here, and I just wanted to make sure... Try and confirm that I haven't gone crazy in the woods.
No, I'm sure you haven't. There's all sorts out here. I just love to know where to avoid.
Huh. The woods? I mean, that's not very helpful, but I would suggest maybe trying to weasel your way onto the train for a time. He goes back to kind of scavenging and grabs a couple more railway spikes and puts them into his pocket. Okay, Anna and Lunabelle, what are you two up to?
I think I'm like just kind of nudging the corrosive, or whatever's left of the vial, like, just kind of with my shoe, like just kind of like, ugh, what?
Yeah, a little bit gets on, and a little hole is burnt into the boot, into the toe of your boot.
I'll turn to Fennel, and Fennel, Jonas mentioned that there was someone who yelled something about a child on the tracks, and that's what he heard right before the crash. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do.
Well, amongst the elves, a tree is often referred to as a child of the earth. But I don't think that that's what he meant. Jonas, did you see this tree grow? And Jonas replies that he was cowering in the third car and all he did was feel the impact. There are ancient rituals that revolved around less savory means of replenishing the air and the ground and the water, and I have never witnessed one. Sacrificing children has fallen into ill favor in the past hundreds of years, as you can imagine. But they must have misseen. Their eyes must have been deceiving them. Obviously, strange magic is afoot here, and whatever the engineer saw out of the front of this train couldn't have been what was actually there. This tree, or this thing that is stealing the image of a tree, is certainly very real. And she's got a very pale kind of look on her face. She's her soft face is very frowny right now, and she's just arms crossed, eyeing the tree up and down.
Do you think someone put the tree here?
I think that's the only way this tree could be here. If someone conjured it from the ground. Can we call it something else? Can we call it the strange object? I just wish not to refer to it as a tree. I feel like it's a insult to trees.
Well, you called it a curse. Can we call it the cursed object?
I just how about just the curse?
Who would want to curse the tracks? Is my question.
I surely can't tell you. If we were hundreds of years in the past, then I would say the elves have caused this. But there's not a lot of us left, and most of us are not, trashing things like this anymore. If it was a more natural tree, I would say maybe the forest itself was rejecting the train, but that doesn't make... This isn't a natural thing.
Clearly not.
Do you think the person who did this might still be nearby?
I don't know. According to Jonas, it's been days.
Can I look for tracks or anything like that?
Yeah.
That's kind of my jam.
Yeah, do it. Do your jam.
I don't think it's gonna go well. Let's try anyway. 20.
That's pretty good. That's a good number.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's not bad. That's my best one so far, so I'm gonna stop complaining.
So, from the third car, there's definitely some heavy boot prints in kind of the dirt mud. This, for you, corroborates the story that Jonas gave you, is that he ran into the woods. You're pretty sure those are his boot prints. There is the sign up near the engine of what you would maybe describe as a struggle. Like two people struggling, wrestling, or one person trying to get away from someone else. But no tracks lead away from there.
Where's the sign of the struggle? Near the front of the car? Near the tree? Like
it's so the engine car is collapsed down to like 1/5 of its length, just from the collision, and then it's blown. The pressure is just blown out the sides. The scuffle is happening sort of in the debris on the left-hand side of where the engine was, or the engine is, I guess now, the debris of the engine. So it's in the dirt there, and you would assume that the scuffle would happen and maybe one person would get away, but it's not, and you can't tell how many people there are involved in this.
Okay, then I communicate that. I do, go over to, I point near the third car, and I say, okay, Mr. Jonas, you came from there, but then looks like something happened right here, and I point to the sign of the struggle, but no one... Looks like maybe someone fought, but then no one got away? That makes no sense. There's no one here.
So with that, the top of the tree starts to splinter as you watch. It kind of, like hit by lightning, but no lightning, splits down the middle and starts to kind of pull apart. A couple seconds later, this black, just like it's covered in an oil slick arm, reaches out from the top of the tree and some humanoid figure starts pulling itself out. Walker, since you're the kind of closest to this situation, you see that they are wearing, it's a dwarf, looks like a dwarf, wearing similar outfit to what Walter is wearing, except this black sappy ichor is dripping off of it, and there is this purple kind of haze all around it. It lets out an inhuman roar as another set of arms starts dragging itself out from the center of this tree, And I think this is where we'll take our break. We're just around the halfway mark. And we will come back with more strange business on the old road to progress. So thanks for everyone who's been watching so far. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break so we can all pee and maybe refresh our drinks or what have you. Everyone, I'm really enjoying this so far. You guys are, all my players are great, so I'm excited to get back to it. So we'll see you in 10 minutes at 2:35. See you soon. Hello, I think we are back. Sorry if you heard a little bit of our dialogue, our break time dialogue, as I transitioned to the break screen. I forgot that I have to mute it as we go. I'm old and computers are strange and unusual to me, so I have to figure out how they work every time I sit down at one. All right, we're back. The first half I think went really well. It was some communicating with each other and learning a little bit about each other. The train was forced to stop not once but twice because of something on the tracks, and now you have learned that there has been a collision. The small leader train that had been sent ahead to lay down the track for progress itself had crashed into a large, monstrous black oak tree that seems to have just burst out of the tracks instantaneously. The sole survivor of the train wreck, supposedly Jonas, did not see this happen as he cowardly ran into the woods. You have all been doing your own investigations, doing your duty to kind of collect a few samples to make it look like you're earning your paychecks, and just generally conversing with Jonas, with Fennel. Walter has still not returned from wherever he was going, but there are more pressing matters at hand as two strange black ichor-covered humanoids have crawled their way out from the top of the tree that had burst, and they're crawling out of the rotten trunk. So I'm going to get everyone to roll initiative for our first little combat here. All right. Anna, what'd you get?
5.
It's a good number. It's a strong number. Lots of cool stuff happens when you're 5. What, Walker, what'd you get?
14.
All right. A little better than 5, but I mean, I don't have favorites. Lunabelle?
16.
Well, it's better than 14. And then Sierra?
20.
Whoa!
Oh.
Winner, Kajo.
Okay. So, I'm going to be testing out over the next few games the best way to... I'm just sitting at my home computer to keep track of things right now. You are all represented by post-it notes on my second monitor, but I think it's going to work well for now. Right, so these creature/humanoids both seem to be wearing, or at least the ichor is providing the silhouette of uniformed people, similar to what Walter has been wearing or wears, and similar to what Jonas is wearing, except they're covered in this thick black sap. So first up is Sierra.
Yeah.
So you were sort of looking through wreckage a little bit, right? You hadn't gotten all the way to the tree at this point.
And that's where they're coming out of?
Yeah. The tree kind of like split open in a Sam Raimi kind of fashion, and then this dwarf-ish humanoid pulling himself out, and then now there's another set of arms that seem to be thinner, pulling themselves out. So I'm going to say you're probably about 50 feet away from the tree at this point.
All right, I want to move towards it.
Okay.
That's,
So your movement, I think, is just 30 feet. That gets you within 20 feet of the tree.
Yeah, I can't.
So you can take an action to dash if you want to move your movement again. That can get you right to the base, but then your action's gone and you just have whatever bonus actions you have access to.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of range with these weapons. sorry, with range, there's two numbers. One is in brackets.
So up until that first number, what are the two numbers, for example?
It's like 5 and 15.
Okay, so one is 5 foot range, which means reach is. It only has a 5 foot. What weapon are you looking at?
I'm looking at a net.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta be real close to use the net. Yeah, okay. So you either, as long as you're within 5 feet of your target, you don't roll with a disadvantage. You can try from a little further away, so up to 15 feet you're at disadvantage. Beyond 15 feet, they don't even let you roll. It's just not gonna happen. So.
Okay. Is there any kind of like protective action I can take on a turn that is not fighting?
You can, so in your list of actions, there is actually a list of all the options that are just kind of available to everyone. The one you're looking for is called dodge. That will give you, anyone attacking you will have disadvantage to try and hit you, and then you will have advantage on any dexterity saves that you need to make, because you're kind of just keeping limber and trying to keep moving. So you could dodge.
Let's do that.
All right. Normally you get out of dodge, but now you're getting into dodge.
Oh.
So, next up is our two weird beings. The dwarven-shaped mass of sap pushes its way out of the top of the tree, and lands with like a goopy, heavy-booted thud beside the tree. The form is definitely dwarven, but features are covered. Like you can see a lump where a nose should be. The gap, the sap is like dripping into the sockets of its skull, but you don't know. You see no identifying symbols of identifying features beyond that. That's going to be its first turn, I think. So it just drops down and with a thud. And you can't tell if it's pulling it from the side or if it is like if it's pulling it off their belt, or if it's just forming out of the sap, but a heavy hammer appears in its hand. And it lets another inhuman like yell out. The other being is a lot thinner, a lot slenderer. You think you see a bit of the vague pointiness of ears. This seems to be a similar combo to the two people that are managing progress. This seems to be some kind of elf or half-elven person. Could be maybe like a half-orc. It's hard to tell, but they have very slender kind of features. They pull themselves out of the muck, but don't come down from the tree. The sap kind of ripples across the front of this creature and almost seems to harden. A shine turns into a more matte kind of finish, and it seems to still have all its mobility, but have some added protection. Okay, so that brings us to Lunabelle.
Oh boy. I have serious concerns about these scary, creepy things. I will, I'm gonna hold my, firebolt cantrip, and I will shoot it once one of them attacks.
Okay.
And so I guess as my, like, firebolt is prepping itself, my armor, like some kind of little extension, is gonna boop out, and to my friends it will start to be apparent that my armor has like extensions and attachments and sort of looks kind of weirdly mechanical, and so as this spell is prepping, it's like this little thing over here that like almost like a lighter is getting ready to like boop out a fireball.
It's like a little gyroscope or something that's whirring up and forming a flame to get ready to fling it.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're holding in case one of them makes a move or tries to attack one of your allies. Okay.
Or me or anyone at all.
Right, of course, yeah. You're your own ally, I think. That
Valid,
makes sense.
yeah.
Cool. So, we have Walker up next. So the dwarf pretty much dropped down right in front of you.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay, so
Yeah.
basically, like, I was looking up at the tree investigating, and, like, these dudes popped out and dropped, like, one of them dropped down in front of me.
Yeah.
Like, would you say that, like, it's sort of, he's literally so far, like, right in front of me that if I back up, I'm gonna take an attack of opportunity type situation?
It's hard to tell what this creature's motivations are. If it was a normal, angry being in front of you, then yes, it would have that option. But you're not 100% sure.
Yeah, so I just, because I think that Walker's kind of, like, hands up, backing away a little bit, and being like, hey there, fella, why are you from this train here? Like, I think that's what she's sort of doing. But she's also, like, one of her hands is kind of, like, twitching to go down to her hip to get her, like, hand crossbow, but she's, like, giving this dude a second first as she sort of backs away.
Okay, is it a full disengage action you're taking?
I would say yes. I would say I'm disengaging and backing away.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of just... Oh, sorry. One thing happens at the beginning of your turn, which I meant to... I'm just sorting some of my super useful deck of mini cards here. So, I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
God damn. Charisma saving throw. I feel like this is gonna change what 15?
Okay, you realize that it's dragged some of this purple mist haze with it, and as it gets close, you're expecting kind of a corrosive feeling or a strange smell, but really it's a vibration in your mind. You pass the save. You take 2 points of psychic damage as kind of some weird distortion starts coming off of this guy. So you can redo. That's the beginning of your turn. So if there was a different, but all he's doing is sort of standing there. It seems, or like he's definitely getting ready to swing. But
yeah. I think I would pretty much do the same thing, except that I'm also now, I guess, grabbing my head and going, "Ow!"
Yeah.
Like very obviously, so that everyone else can see. Like,
are you moving your full movement?
I would say I back up like half my full movement, so maybe like 15 feet.
15 feet, or 2.5 feet if your sheet was to be believed last night. So yeah, you with 15 feet of movement, you just step outside of that weird purple haze.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I like sort of like shake it off then, like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've suffered the injury, but you have not. And yeah, I guess if you were showing pain, that would look like some form of attack. So I will have Lunabelle make her held firebolt.
Okay. I will roll 2. 23.
Yeah, I suppose that will hit him.
Huzzah. Okay, and then I need 10. And that's 6. So he takes 6 damage, and it says if he's flammable, he ignites.
Okay.
But no extra damage.
So 6 points of damage. Cool. So the little gyroscope thing on your shoulder whirs into full action and flicks a little mote of flame that fires at a high speed right into the chest of this dwarf blob creature, and flame like spreads across the chest from the impact, and there's like the kind of bubbling and popping of the sap indicates that some injury has been made, but there's still no evidence of whatever's underneath this thing. So that was your held action. We're back to Walker. Do you have any bonus stuff you want to do?
Nope. Nope. I mean, just the fire is in front of me now, so I'm glad I backed the hell up.
Yeah, it's not on fire. So
Okay.
yeah, but he is bubbling a little bit.
I don't know. Can I bonus? I guess like now we're fighting, so like bonus action, I just grab my hand crossbow. That's all.
Perfect. Cool. Next up is actually Jonas. Jonas says, Angus, is that you? I think that's the engineer of the train. He reaches and he grabs onto one. He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out one of the railway spikes, and it looks like he's getting ready to throw it, but he's hesitating. And that's his turn. Anna.
I pull out the Sinclair pistol and point it at Angus and say, "What the hell, Angus?"
So for the
and then I want.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then I want to shoot him in the whole face.
Sure. So for the rest of you, what you see is her reach into kind of a coat and under her arm and pull out this strange hunk of metal that has a round cylinder in the middle, and a trigger not unlike the the handle not unlike that of a crossbow, but this is like nothing you've ever seen before. So you pull on that trigger, you fire a round at the blob dwarf.
Six.
So the bullet, the missile hits, but it seems to be slowed down dramatically by the sap and then just kind of spit out onto the ground in front.
Whoops.
You do have your bonus action if you want to try another shot.
Yeah, I'll do another one.
Okay, so you reach under the other arm with the other hand and pull out a second one and fire another round.
10.
You rolled a 6. What was the number on the die?
It was 2.
So the first one fires, and it's obvious why it lost a lot of speed as it came out, as your weapon makes kind of a strange sound, and it appears to not be, the barrel doesn't seem to be turning anymore. What did you roll on the other one?
6. And then...
On the second attack?
Yeah.
Is another 6?
No, well, it was 6 and then a 10.
A 10, okay. That also misses, but there's no jam.
Okay.
Okay? Right, so your first display of Sinclair's new side irons is not as impressive as you'd like. Both bullets seem to just be rejected by the sap beast. All right, we're going to back to the top of the round with Sierra. Now, Sierra, you are particularly startled to see this, as you can imagine.
Yeah, what the heck?
But we can discuss that later. What are you doing on your turn in this glorious, sticky combat?
I would like to get closer.
Sure.
And I would like to stay a bit of a distance and try and use my whip.
Okay. Against who? So I am at the dwarf and...
Is the guy still on fire?
The dwarf was... Yeah, he was never on fire. He was not ignitable. The dwarf is on actually the other side of the train car from where you are. The stuff where you were rooting around in, you were on the right-hand side, and there he's across on the left. You do have the druid, the elven person up in the tree that is just sort of sitting there looking around that you could try and whip. What's the range on the whip?
It's only 10 feet.
Yeah, okay. So with your movement, you could get just to the other side within 10 feet of the dwarf if you wanted, but not a lot of hiding.
That's fine.
Okay. So you unfurl a whip from your hip, a hip whip, if you would, and take a thwack with it.
All right. So what, do you want me to roll twice and take the lead?
No, you should be at it. You get your regular roll just once.
Okay. 15 plus 4, 19.
Yeah. So whatever bullet immunity it seems to have, it doesn't have whip immunity, as the whip slings out and slashes at the side of it. How much damage do you do?
1 plus 2, 3. 3 slashing.
All right. It has suffered said damage.
And
your whip comes back heavier with more, and it kind of caked a little bit in this weird black ichor that is surrounding this creature.
ew.
So your movement's done. You do have a bonus action. I don't know if there's anything you want to do with that.
Yeah, I think I would like to take out like my saber as a bonus action.
Sure. You can draw one weapon for free every turn, so you don't actually have to use up the bonus action. But yes, that's fine. Pulling out the saber and getting that ready can be kind of how you rally the rest of your turn. All right. Now we have our friends. The dwarf just starts to trudge towards you, Walker. Its weird ichor-covered hammer shape is now being wielded in both hands, and it brings a swing down on you.
Here I am trying to be so nice.
So that first swing is a natural 1.
Yes.
The hammer swings down to where the base of your feet are, and for a second, all that's connecting the ichor to the hammer is like a hoop of the... As he pulls back from it, it's like he left the hammer down on the ground, and there's just this hanging hoop of goop. But then immediately the hammer just forms back into his hand, and he takes another swing. Does a 14 hit you?
Nope.
That's right, you've got 15. All right. You manage to duck aside as another hammer blow lands on the ground. It lets out another inhuman kind of roar. The other leaner creature up in the tree is going to... Sorry, I have to get my spell app open here. So, returning fire against Anna's flame attack. This creature holds its hand out, and a ball of flame appears. This has more of the feeling of a natural flame, but the figure cups her fingers around it and throws it. Let's see if it hits.
Wait, did you say Anna or Luna?
Sorry, Luna is who I meant. That's a 13, which I believe is a miss.
It is.
So it lands on the ground beside you and fizzles out in the snow. Oh, there's snow. So,
Good to know.
yeah.
Surprise.
So that brings us to Lunabelle, actually.
Okay. I did not like that from her. I did not appreciate that. And so I will turn to her and I will shoot out a chromatic orb. Which I have to pick the type. So I think I'll go with fire again. And it looks like it's 3d8 if it hits. Okay, there I go.
Yep, but you have to make an attack roll first.
Yes, yeah, I was just trying to figure out. D&D Beyond was just a little frozen, but it's better. Okay, that's 18 to hit.
All right. The gyroscope type thing on your shoulder expands a little bit and starts forming a much larger... Oh, and a diamond a diamond is revealed inside of it, and the
Anna's suddenly like.
yeah.
looks directly at me.
And the diamond showing up like grows the size of the flame, and it hurls up towards the sticky figure on the tree, and that hits for sure. So can you roll your damage?
Yes. Oh man, 2 1s. That's 8 damage.
All right. Fighting fire with fire in this case actually helps a little. Yeah. Part of you impact in the chest of this this creature, and part of it melts away, and there is like a bit of uniform revealed, and you see just a little bit of the symbol of Bellisk as the sap reforms over top. So.
Can I use my bonus action to yell to my friends that it looks like there's something underneath the goop?
Sure.
Like maybe people?
You don't have to ask me if you want to say that. You just say it.
Oh, friends, it looks like there's something underneath the goop. I'm worried these might be the actual people.
Okay. Good job, Lunabelle. Walker.
I mean, Walker had her hands up. She was backing up. She just got attacked twice and kind of barely managed to get out of the way. So I'm imagining hand crossbow is not going to work. The dude's right up in her face, so she's going to reach down and grab a dagger and be like, "Whoa now, fellows, trying to be nice, but..." And she's going to stab.
Okay. Give me one of them stab rolls.
That's a 15 to hit.
That is just good enough, yes.
Okay. And as the hit lands, she's gonna cast Ensnaring Strike.
All right, what does that do?
And
what do you need from me?
Okay. Well, I guess I should roll the hit on the dagger first, right? And then I'll do...
That's right. Is it dependent on the hit?
Yeah.
Okay.
And once I hit, then I can bonus action use Ensnaring Strike.
Cool.
Okay, so then the dagger is 1d4 plus 3, so just... Dang it, where's my d4? Right here.
Oh, and I need another charisma save at the top of the round from you.
Okay, that's fine. That is a 10.
You take 1 point of psychic damage as the field encompasses your mind and seems to get in behind your eyeballs.
Ugh, migraine. So the dagger hit was 5 points damage.
Okay.
And then the ensnaring strike. Once you hit a creature with attack weapon, blah 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 blah. They do a strength save or be restrained by magical vines. So basically, I stab, and then once I successfully hit, vines come out the dagger, I guess.
Yeah, that is exactly how I would imagine it. Let's see, a strength save. He's got a 12.
I think my... it's 8 plus proficiency bonus plus your casting, right?
Yeah.
So that would be 13.
All right, so it works. He doesn't dodge it. So you stab the dagger in, and these ensnaring vines start to shoot out of the blade of the dagger and wrap around and grip around him. He's immobilized now.
Yeah, and he takes 1d6 at the start of each of his turns as long as he stays in there.
Boo.
Okay.
For him.
Yeah, and then if he's restrained, does that make it so I can back away without getting hit?
I believe so.
There is a deck of many cards about this. I've seen it.
There is one, yeah. It's right behind me. I use my own product, for sure. So he is restrained.
It's a great time to plug our sponsors, the Deck of Many, who make these amazing D&D cards for which Jordan is an artist.
All right, he's restrained. It says here, speed becomes 0, and it can't benefit from any bonus. Attack rolls against him have advantage, and creature attack rolls of disadvantage. and he's got disadvantage on dexterity saves.
Okay.
So it doesn't say anything about not being able to make attacks, but they would be at disadvantage.
Yeah, so I can try and back away, and he has disadvantage to hit me. Okay, so I'm going to try and back away.
So the kind of goo that's covering him tries to hyperextend his limb to swing the hammer at you, and it looks like it's going to be a miss. And it is.
Yay! Okay, so I'm going to back up probably another... I'm going to back up like 25 more feet.
Okay, so that brings you kind of back up against the train, the remains of the debris, okay?
I'll back up to like the train-ish.
Perfect. Jonas, hearing Lunabelle's words saying, yes, it's the rest of my crew. Something devilish has consumed them. And he's still like hesitating with the railway spike in one hand. And that brings us to Anna.
How do I do the repair?
You have to spend an action making a Tinker Tools check. You would be doing that at disadvantage since you are not proficient with them right now.
With the firearms or with the tools?
You're proficient with the firearms, but you're not really good at repairing them. So I would need it's a dexterity roll, just a straight dexterity roll with disadvantage.
Okay. It's 9 and 12.
So 9 is the lower of the two?
Yeah.
So you start fumbling around to grab the Tinker's tools from the kind of modified lab coat that you're wearing that you've modified to kind of look a little more fashionable, and you pull out one of the tools and just try to dig out whatever's stuck. Unfortunately, the barrel just kind of pops out and doesn't seem to want to go back in. So you've got to stow. Yeah. You've got to stow that and work on that later.
Okay.
Your other gun is still in good shape as long as you don't roll a 1 or a 2.
Yeah. So I want to use my bonus action to use the second.
You can only do the bonus action if you attack with the first action, and the first action was a repair, not attack. So next turn.
That's dumb. Okay.
Yeah. You can get the gun in one hand or the dagger in one hand and fire the gun with the bonus action next round if you want. So there's an option there. Okay. And 1 second. Who's up next? Top of the round, Sierra. Is the whip light? Is the whip a light weapon? It'll say it in the keywords beside it.
Just says melee weapon.
Okay, I don't think you can then.
Okay.
You need to be within 5 feet to use the rapier, and you are within 10 feet with it, so it's kind of like tough, right? So you can do one or the other.
Okay. I'm gonna whip it again.
Whip it real good, yeah.
Whip it real good. But if I moved forward, could I then do it?
1 second. Let me consult the deck of many. I don't think we did a whip. That's one weapon I didn't do. You know, hindsight's 20/20.
Future card.
Yeah. That's what I did. I left options to the future. Let me just Google D&D Beyond a whip. So it is a finesse weapon, but it is not a light weapon, so you just can't dual wield it at all.
Well, fine.
If you've got a dagger, you can use a dagger in one hand and the rapier in the other.
I don't have a dagger.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna whip it again.
Okay.
Damn. 21.
That's a hit.
Okay.
So it did move forward a bit. You would have to move it like 10 feet to get close enough to do it.
Okay.
Yep. Just so you know, you have to move a little closer, but... So how much damage?
Oh, nice. 4 plus 2, 6.
Maximum whip damage.
It's very little, but...
Oh, that's fine. This time the whip drags down the back of the dwarf, and it unveils like a jump, like an overall underneath. that is in the same color that other workers are wearing. So you see a bit of evidence of that as well on the dwarf. Okay, next up is in fact the dwarf's turn. His attention is kind of split between Walker and Sierra. He is going to... Oh, he's entangled too. So he can't actually move. He takes d6 damage at the top of his turn.
Yeah, he does.
Can he try and break this?
I believe so. Strain. Creature strain events.
Spend an action, probably.
It can use its action to make a strength check against your spell. On a successful roll, the target is free.
He rolled a 16.
Yep. Poop.
So he took his d6 damage, and the goop kind of makes his form seem even bigger, and it snaps all the vines off. That's his whole turn, and we'll say he can't move either, but he's free of the vines. And that brings us to the strange pointy-eared person in the tree. Their arms come out, and again, the torso looks like it's just forming out of the tree almost. Their arms sort of outreach, and she lifts them. They lift them up off the ground, and grasping vines start coming up from the ground that are part tree root, part this goopy sap. I'm gonna get Sierra and Walker to make a strength saving throw, please.
Ah, poop. I haven't.
5.
Yeah.
Okay, and what'd you get, Walker?
8.
All right, it seems like your trick has been turned back on you, Walker, as the vines reach up and grab, and now you are restrained. You are the same deal. Make a strength save as a action. There's no damage from this, but
Okay.
You are bound up by the vines, Sierra as well, and your attacks are at disadvantage, and attacks against you are at advantage.
Oh dang.
So that is our skinny goopy person's turn. Which brings us to Lunabelle.
Alright, I'm going to firebolt that skinny goopy person. Yeah, I'm concerned that we're gonna kill innocent people, but they're attacking us, so. Oh, that's a natural one. Oh,
So yeah, it appears that your hesitation translates into not being sure that you should be attacking them at all, and your physical body actually twitches, and the orb fires in the wrong direction. I will remind everyone who's doing regular non-magical weapon attacks that you can subdue, right? You can do non-lethal damage to knock someone down to 0 hit points, but keep them... they're just knocked unconscious at that point. They're not bleeding out or dying, so that is an option. Okay, anything else with your turn, Lunabelle? You were kind of sort of standing a little further back, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I'll keep my eyes peeled for the return of Noodle. And other than that, can you think, like, I don't know, is that like a bonus action you can take? Like, can I think, like, have I ever read anything about people being controlled by stuff?
Yeah, I'll let you make a Arcana check.
Oh, okay. Can't be worse than the last one. Still not great. My Arcana 12.
There's lots of stories of possession, of dead bodies being reanimated. You'd have to get a good look at whatever's underneath. It doesn't seem to be skeletal. So there seems to be a whole body underneath, but you don't know what's... It's not like ectoplasm, like a ghost possessing something. It's like this ichor covering someone, and you don't know if it's the things inside are long dead or if they are being manipulated and still alive. You have
Okay.
no idea.
Okay.
But I mean, you're familiar with the basics, and it doesn't look like any of those. So, Walker.
I am tempted to try and get out of here, but I'm really not strong. That's not my thing. So I'm going to probably stay in place and just try and like aim with my hand crossbow and try and take a shot. Is the one up in the tree within 30 feet of me?
Yeah. You're kind of just sort of at the base, like, and you just turn to look up at them. So,
okay.
yeah.
I'm going to try and take a shot at them.
Okay. So it will be with disadvantage.
Disadvantage, yep.
Your arm kind of has to struggle to get the vines, the goop vines to move out of the way.
That was... wait, sorry. 21 or 14.
Unfortunately, the 14 is not quite good enough.
Damn.
The angle you're at is making it very difficult, and you let a crossbow bolt go, but it hits like the shoulder of this creature, but it just seems to go straight through some of the goop and not actually impact any of whatever's underneath.
Yeah. Okay.
So there you go.
And yeah, because it's a full action to try and get out of the.
Yeah, you would have to use your action to do that.
Okay.
If you want, you can throw a dagger with your offhand.
Oh, I can?
Yep, with the bonus attack. You just if you hit, you don't add your dex to the damage.
Okay, but I think I have to do that at the person on the ground because they're closer, right? The dagger can't go as far as the crossbow.
Oh, that's right. You can't. I guess it's 20 feet, right?
Yeah.
Although you're already at disadvantage, so which would result from trying to throw it further. So if you did want to throw it at the druid, you could do that. Yeah.
Okay. Doing it.
There's no double disadvantage, so
I'm throwing one of my daggers. Just going all out here. Ooh, 19 or 3. No.
Yeah, this one lands in an awkward way and just seems to sink into the sludge. You can kind of see a bit of the handle sticking out.
Okay.
All right. Next up is Jonas. He yells, "Why are you behaving this way? What's doing this to you?" And he finally lets rip with one and then another. He throws them the railway spikes seemingly very skillfully. One at each of them. Alright, that's a hit. Ooh, a couple of hits. Creature in the tree. He moves close enough to be able to do this, obviously. The creature in the tree, he does 6 points of damage to. The railway spike leaves his grip and sinks deep into the chest of this creature, and it actually stays there as though it's stuck into something. Then he chucks another one at the dwarf. That's an impact, and he does, wow, another 6 points of damage. Yeah, he seems terrified to be doing this, but he is not interested in anyone getting hurt further by his so-called friends. So that brings us to Anna.
Is it possible for me to try to free Walker from being restrained?
Yeah, you could walk up and do a strength check to try and rip them off.
Hold on, let me see. Okay, that's the only way?
I would allow a melee weapon attack to try and chop through.
Okay. Yeah, could I use my dagger to try to get Walker out of there?
So To get there, you would need to kind of move through the debris and then walk across the still grasping kind of vines. They won't try and grab onto you again, but they are considered like difficult terrain, so you are moving half speed. You could spend your whole turn getting to Walker, or you can spend half a turn, spend your movement getting halfway there, and then do an action and then get there again.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do
You'll
halfway
move all the
there.
way?
No, halfway there, and then.
Okay. So what would you like to do with your action?
I am gonna take my very, very great chances of shooting the one in the tree.
Okay.
With the Sinclair firearm. Not it. Six.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it was a 2.
So
No.
This fires again.
So your haste to leave town, you didn't spend a lot of time trying to really figure out how these things worked, and they are brand new. You pull the trigger and there's just nothing shooting out of it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
That dice is cursed, by the way. It needs
I'm
to be...
using several different ones.
Oh no.
One's not going well. Let me try the next one.
Then
nope, they're all terrible.
Then it's you, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Anna, you're so useless.
There's a Will Wheaton in our midst.
Do you have a bonus action that you would like to do?
I just want to huck one of my daggers, just
sure.
In frustration.
It would have to be the dwarf.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that.
So use your offhand, your dual wield, so you're not adding your dexterity bonus to the damage.
Okay, 1 sec. No, that's not what. Hold on. Somehow they all went back into. All right. 12. Best roll yet.
Unfortunately, the dagger kind of skids off the side of the dwarf and lands in the dirt and the snow beside him. It's just not Anna's day, unfortunately.
Apparently not.
All right, so now we're top of the round. Sierra.
Oh, strength check to get out.
Yeah. Also, I'd like you to do a perception check quickly for me.
Wait, who does?
Sierra.
Okay, sorry, I zoned out for a second.
Sorry, trying to find where my. Where is perception? +3. 15.
So you are focusing on the combat at hand, but your eyes keep drifting over to this young woman that's got the 2 strange weapons in her hands, and you recognize a similar problem that maybe you've had with some of your things in the past, and that you just think you might be able to help her at some point. I just wanted to make sure you noticed that. And what would you like to do with your turn?
I would like to try and bust out of these vines.
So that's a strength save, please.
Oh. 16.
Yep, you bust right out. The vines drop to the ground around you, and you are free. You have no movement left, unfortunately. You can take a bonus action if you've got anything you want that can do with a bonus action.
No, I'm okay.
Okay, so yeah, you've ripped free of the vines. And that brings us to the dwarf. Seeing his chance, he takes a couple of swings with advantage against Walker, who is still bound.
Fair enough.
A 16?
Yep.
Oh, wait, sorry. A 14. That's a miss.
Nope. Yeah.
And another 14. Damn. Something about you, Walker, is impossible for this thing. Maybe it's the fact that it has no eyeballs. I don't know.
Probably to my benefit.
Yeah. The the other creature up in the tree is going to throw another one of those little balls of flame at Anna.
Oh, lucky.
You are lucky because I don't think a 10 hits you.
Anna
So-
just kind of yells up, "Sucks to suck!"
And the flame, like, just lands on the ground, melts a huge crater of snow out of the way. The creatures aren't reacting in any way, like, they're not showing disappointment or anything like that. They're just kind of seem to be going through the motions of doing this. So, next up is Lunabelle.
Okay.
Can I get a perception check from you as well, Lunabelle?
Yes. That's 15.
15? Yeah, so you notice also the mechanical troubles that your newish friend Anna is having. And just make note of it.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to do on your turn?
I would like to use the message cantrip to see if I can speak directly to the mind of the goop elf lady. And I just want to ask her, are you alive in there?
There is a small, ghostly help. Just like, help. But it sounds like it's down a tunnel, like very, very far away, recessed back very far away.
Okay, then I will then use my bonus action to scream to my friends. They're alive in there. I can talk to them, but barely.
Cool.
That's my turn.
Walker.
Okay. I guess I'll try and get out. I'm gonna try.
Is there anything that you think you can do to give yourself an advantage in this situation?
I mean, could I use my bonus action to chop at the vines before I try and pull myself out? Like,
I would let you make a disadvantaged attack against them, and if you manage to do a little bit of damage, that could give you an advantage on the strength. So that's my offer.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else I might do.
Otherwise, you just make a straight strength save.
I'll try and like slash at them to get out, cause
Sure.
it's disadvantaged, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, 18 both times.
All right. You don't do a ton of damage. You kind of chop away at it, but there is, like, some of the vines seem to be loosened.
Okay.
On your next turn, you'll have advantage to break out.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Next up is Jonas. Jonas is running forward. He's going to try. He kind of scrambles over the debris and tries to tackle the dwarf. Right. So the dwarf is caught unawares because his focus is completely on Walker, and Walker, you witness as you're trying to struggle out, Jonas just diving off the top of the debris and tackling the dwarf to the ground. He knocks the dwarf prone, and he's now on top. And he has another spike in one hand, but he's sort of just hesitating and holding it over top. His clothing, like he's sort of straddling this creature, and the one hand is like instinctively reached to grab the shirt or the front of whatever's there, and it's just sinking into the sap. He yells something like, "Stop doing this!" Anna.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn between wanting to, like, get Walker out of the vines or try to pull Jonas off of obviously a like gonna get sucked and be a goopy boy too.
You saw you did get a look at what Walker was trying to do, and you do see kind of an opportunity to cut her free.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can continue doing that and move over and try and get her out.
All right. Yeah, I just kind of like shrug over at Jonas and.
I'll let you have the advantage that she would have gotten on trying to break through. So you've got a dagger handy. You're just going to try and chop at the vines.
Okay.
Is that what you want to
do? Yeah, I just want to throw it. So I got a good roll. Okay, yeah, 17, 21. Math.
Yep, so chop right through, the vines fall to the ground, and with that, the spell starts to kind of recede a little bit, and Walker, you're now freed.
Yes! Thank you!
I got you.
So, anything else? That kind of is your whole movement, your bonus action? Yeah. Do you have a bonus action you'd like to do?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
So, top of the round, Sierra.
How far am I? Has they moved?
You've been whipping the dwarf, right?
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah, he moved away from you.
Okay.
He's standing over where Walker and now Anna are. About another 10, 15 feet away from you.
Okay, I want to move towards him and...
Oh, no, sorry. Sorry, my mistake. He is pinned on the ground.
Oh.
He's prone and pinned by Jonas on the ground. Melee attacks against him, as long as you're within 5 feet, are at advantage right now because he's prone.
Yeah, I would like to hit at him with this. It's a rapier mechanically, but I picture it as a saber.
Yeah, it's a saber.
Yeah, I would like to.
Okay. And you got advantage on this attack.
Okay, so 8 is my first roll, plus 4.
That's a miss, unfortunately. There is some kind of physical armor or something underneath.
Do I try again, though? Because it's advantage?
Oh, sorry, no, yeah. You roll twice, and you take the highest of the two.
That was the highest.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, yeah, you miss. Yeah. I'm sorry. Something, he's got some kind of physical armor on underneath. Anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
Just kick him because I'm annoyed.
Sure, I'll give you a free kick action.
Yes.
You kick into him and you pull your leg back and there's like a little string of goop that gets pulled back, and you shake it off, but not before a little layer of leather is like eaten away. All right, our goopy ground boy is going to try and push our sturdy train man off of him.
I love these nicknames they have.
And he does. Jonas isn't knocked down, but he's pushed back up to standing, and the dwarf is still lying prone on the ground. He uses half of his movement to stand up, and he's going to take a couple of swings at Jonas. One misses and one hits. So Jonas is going to take a little bit of damage. This is the first time he's hit anything, isn't it? Oh no. The hammer swing comes down heavy on our boy Jonas, and yeah, he takes 10 points of damage. Oh, sorry, that's plus some stuff. 13 points of damage.
Oof.
Yeah, Jonas isn't looking good, and he's winded from the impact of the hammer.
What room?
Okay, and then our eye in the sky is just going to chuck more fire at who... I was going to try Sierra, because you are endangering the dwarf. That's probably a miss.
My armor class is 14.
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. That is a 15, so it does hit. You take 1d8 fire damage. 3 points of fire damage as one of these motes of flame impacts into you, and your leather duster doesn't seem to slow down the burn. Okay, that is our friend's turn. Lunabelle. What is the... I meant to ask, what is the speed of your bookworm?
Let me pull that up. I have it. I just have to find it. Bookworm. Well, that's the front of the card. I'm gonna have to buy the actual physical card off you to avoid this happening.
I'm gonna say I think it's 30 feet flying speed. So at this point, you sense that Noodle is like maybe 40 feet away.
He's got 60 feet fly speed, but yes.
Holy smokes! Okay, yeah.
You made
him. One more round. One more round. He's here. If you can roll initiative for him, that'd be great.
Sure. His initiative is what's that? 17.
All right. So yeah, next round he'll be in the action.
Cool. I would like to, if I may, cast Sleep, and try and get it in the catchment area. Is it possible to get both the dwarf and the elf? Are they within 20 feet of each other?
The creature up in the tree is too far away, but you can target it so that no one else gets hit.
Yeah, I'll do her then. Yeah.
You're going to target just the dwarf?
Just the tree creature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So that no one else gets hit. Okay. Let me click it. I roll 5d8, and that many hit points is how many. If she has less than that, she's asleep. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. 8 plus 4 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. Plus 8 is 22.
So, the first thing that happens is a small, furry creature that has climbed up into the tree passes out and falls to the you obscured in the branches. But then shortly after, the creature slumps forward, seemingly asleep. So this is a normal sleep. Any kind of jostling or whatever will wake them up. But for now, uncomfortably, they are sleeping in the top of this tree.
Okay, I will shout to my friends. I've slept. The elf, don't wake her up. And hopefully we can save them. Yeah.
So, right. Anything else with your turn? Bonus action?
No.
Okay.
I don't have anything else I can do.
Walker, you are freed from the vines. It's your go.
Okay, I'm going to try. Because I still have one dagger on me. I'm gonna try and walk up to Goopy Boy, and can I try to like you said, like non-kill, not like maybe spin the dagger around and smack him in the head, like trying to just knock him out.
You make the attack as normal. I will just treat it as non-lethal damage.
Yeah, I don't have sleepy time magics, so this is my version. This is my sleepy time magics. Smack. Let's see.
Pretty sure it's the same thing.
That is a 20 to hit.
Yep, for sure.
So then roll. That's 4 damage.
Okay. It does stagger somewhat at the impact of the dagger. A dagger stagger, if you will. Its focus is pulled from Jonas to you, but it does not seem to be knocked unconscious quite yet. It's very difficult to judge the state of these creatures, because any damage done to it does seem to do something, but then reforms. The goopy sap reforms over top. So he's not down yet.
Okay.
Anything else you'd like to do?
Well,
actually, oh no, you're
okay.
You can hand crossbow with the offhand if you wanted.
Yeah, but I'd be a disadvantage all up in his because it's a ranged weapon.
Yeah, you'd have to move, I guess.
Can I unarmed strike or something? Can I other hand would that count?
Sure, it only does 1 plus your...
Oh, is that what it does?
Yeah, it'll do 1 damage plus your strength.
Oh, so that's -1.
Yeah. Punching doesn't seem to be your fortes.
Nope. Fancy flourishes are more my style. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I can't. No, I'm not a rogue, so I can't disengage as a bonus action. Poop! What have I gotten myself into? I'm just gonna... Yeah, feel like, whoops, sorry. I don't know, I'm getting ready to be hit. I'm getting ready. That's it.
Oh, no.
Jonas is up next. He staggers towards this dwarf blob. He pulls up a spike, the last 2 spikes he's got, and swings them down into the shoulders of the dwarf. It staggers back and then falls down onto the ground. Jonas, it falls down to the ground with the spike still in his shoulders. Jonas kind of steps over it and just pushes one of the spikes down into the dirt to keep them from moving. There's an inhuman, again, the moan, and something behind it has some kind of thick accent in the distance, but it definitely doesn't have a humanoid kind of sound. And he goes, "Now, son, you have to stay down." Anna, you're up.
I want to try to repair my other gun.
Okay.
The other firearm.
So that's another little tinker check.
Yeah. I have disadvantage on it, right?
What's better between your intelligence and your dexterity?
It'd be dexterity. I have -1 intelligence.
Okay. Dexterity check, please.
Okay.
That's why you were asking about those trees.
Yeah. 10.
That's with the disadvantage?
Oh, no. 12. But 10.
Right. That's just enough to kind of clear whatever jammed it, and the gun clicks back together. So you can use it again.
Everything's coming up, Anna. Can I? No, wait. I can't. Never mind. That's the end of my turn, right?
That's your action to do that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Good. Happy with it.
Do you want to move or anything?
Where am I? I'm near Walker, right?
Yeah. Yeah, last turn you had just helped Walker get out of the vines.
Yeah. No, I think I think I'm in an okay position.
Okay. Top of the round brings us to Sierra. The creature up in the tree is still gently snoring away.
One on the
And then
ground?
the dwarf, still covered in this ichor, but not moving and pinned by a railway spike.
I want to just slash at him again.
Okay. He seems to be out cold.
Oh, he's out cold?
Yeah, sorry. I meant to make that clear. He's very easy to hit, though, if you do want to just keep whipping him.
Yeah, I do. I'm not really satisfied
Okay.
with this.
Make another whip attack.
16.
Yep, it's at advantage if you want to see if you get a 20.
No.
Okay. So, the whip comes down. It counts as a critical regardless, because they're unconscious.
1 plus 2 is just 3.
Okay, roll the damage die again and add that again.
With the bonus as well?
No, just the damage.
Okay.
Just the die.
2.
Yeah, so the whip comes down, and Jonas looks up at you with a terrified look on his face, as for the first time, something that isn't the ichor starts leaking out that looks like blood mixing with the ichor. This guy's now bleeding out. That brings us to the dwarf, actually. Cool. And then druid tree person is sleepy. Lunabelle. You're muted, I think.
My bad. I'm gonna do what I can to stabilize the dwarf.
Okay. You run over.
I don't have any items.
You just make a medicine check, and yeah.
Here's something. Nope. 7.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's really difficult to see what injury this dwarf even has at this point. That's your turn, Walker.
I'm going for the same idea. Like, I didn't want to, like the other one's asleep. We have this one out in front of us. Is there any, like, I don't know, nature survival medicine type thing I can do to see if we can...
You can try and do a medicine check to staunch the bleeding, just the
Okay.
same way.
Well, I'm concerned with, like, waking him up only for him to attack us again. Is there...
Well, stabilizing him still keeps him unconscious.
Okay.
If you gave him a healing potion and he got 1 or more hit points back, then yes, he would be up and moving again.
Okay. Try and
Stop being almost dead.
Yeah, we just want him to not die. I want to... Nope. 4 plus 3 is 7.
Same as
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the ichor just seems to be covering the source of the wound, and now the blood is just mixing completely with it.
Yeah, is there anything... Can I think of any way, like, I don't know, as a ranger, my special area is forest, so is there any tree knowledge I have to, like, unsap this fellow? Like...
If this was a normal sap spill that you had to clean up after, you would definitely be able to solve that problem lickety-split. But yeah, this is not a natural situation. I will need...
It's okay.
Oh, and... Yeah, I can't think of anything that you can do right now, unless healing him. He is pinned down, like his shoulder is stabbed into the dirt, so he won't move very easily.
Yeah.
But he would, so healing him would save him, but...
Yeah.
Although you did your medicine check, so unfortunately no bonus action potion.
Done.
Jonas shoots daggers at Sierra and then tries to repair this guy himself. Jonas is not good at this. But he's seen a lot of injuries, and it's dangerous life on the rails. He rips a bit of fabric off of his sleeve and just jams it in the place where he thinks the blood's coming from, and the dwarf seems to stabilize. Amazing. So we're going to drop out of combat now. We've got about 10 minutes left, and so you guys can do a little investigating or whatever, but yeah. So suddenly it's just silence. There's just the heat coming off of progress behind you. The the creature in the tree. Well, I guess it's a druid now. That Lunabelle, that spell has a length of time, or they just fall asleep until they're woken up?
1 minute. So we have approximately 45 seconds until she
shoot.
wakes up.
So should we all like attack her? Or
We
knock
should
her out
tie
of
her,
the
maybe
tree?
tie her down.
I already used my ensnaring. Oh, I guess I could do it again, but because she's up in the tree, we would have to climb up the tree to get to her, wouldn't we?
Yeah, and I mean, if someone's moving fast and has a plan, they can get up there without someone can try and do it.
Okay, then
I'll go too. If she's gonna go, we can go together.
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually have, what are they called, pittons? Like I have climbing equipment, like
Sure.
just to benefit like us climbing up the tree as quickly as possible and like
sure.
climbing up the tree.
I'll say that because you've got the appropriate equipment, you can get up there if you want. What's your plan once you're up there?
Rope.
Tie her up before she wakes up?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not a problem. As soon as you tie the knot in the rope, she starts to move around because it's enough jostling to wake her up.
Okay.
What's everyone else doing right now? She's sort of in a daze and still covered in the goop. Her hands are bound enough that it seems like any spell attacks can't be done right now. Are you staying up there, Walker, or are you dragging her down?
Well, actually, if I use here's my thought. If I use the pittons, they're the ones that have like, they punch and then they have a hole. So I've looped the rope through the hole and I can lower her down now.
Okay. All right. She's kind of struggling on the ground, bound up by the rope, and it seems like the rope is holding for now against the kind of ichor of the sap. Can I get you to make a charisma save, though?
Damn it. 4.
4? Yeah, unfortunately. You take 3 points of psychic damage.
Ow, 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 ow! Okay, I did it.
Jonas is kind of screaming, not screaming, but very angrily having words with this dwarf that's not responding to him. And he clutches his head and stumbles back because there's still an aura around the dwarf as well. Okay. What is everyone else doing? Sierra, what are you doing?
I'm going to move towards the figure that's coming down the tree.
Okay. Yeah, she's kind of writhing. Doesn't seem like she's able to do much or stand up. The rope is tied tight.
Ready to attack if she busts out, but not going to attack yet.
Anna, what are you doing?
Is Noodle back yet?
Yes, Noodle would have arrived on the next turn, so Noodle is here. Noodle's got, in Noodle's little claws, he's got a metal container that, it's a kind of a thick, round container, not too deep, big cork in the top, like metal reinforced cork. So.
Thank you, Noodle, and then I want to go get like some of the sap to get in to try in this one.
All right, so are you going to scrape some off one of the people?
Yeah.
Okay, so which one, dwarf or?
I'd say the dwarf.
Okay.
Because I feel like he's closest.
You just take kind of haphazardly the container and scoop it down, and it reveals again a bit of the patch of Bellisk. And you kind of just flip the ooze into the thing and put the stopper on. There's some on the outside still, but it seems to not be eating through. And the goop kind of starts to reform over top. Fennel, who has been laying low during this fight, she dove in behind some debris, comes over and starts like pulling out herbs and stuff from the pockets of her coat. She's like, I'm going to attempt a cleansing to see if we can get whatever's on this off of them. I don't know. This is so unnatural. And she starts doing it. And all of the sap starts to slowly, over the next 5 or 6 minutes, start to recede. but it all seems to be forming into a shape. The shape, basically, the sap takes a root and it goes about into it. It sort of travels along this route about 30 feet away, and then starts to form into the physical shape of a broad-shouldered humanoid. Seems to be wearing something like a duster and a broad-brimmed hat. Its hands are kind of abnormally large, hanging at its sides. They kind of twitch as though they're getting ready to grab onto something that isn't there. A voice echoes through all of your minds, and you hear the voice say, "Until we meet again." And that's where we're going to leave it for this week.
Creepy.
What?
All right, that was fun. I think that went pretty well. So, how you guys like the game so far? You can say mean things if you want.
Good.
Cool. All right.
I could
I
roll
thought
better.
you were talking to the viewing audience.
Well, they can't talk back to me though, so you're the only people I can talk to right now.
I like our goopy boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll make a return. You never know.
We need to give
Cool.
them a bath.
I will now address the audience. Thank you all for watching. I hear there was a lot of chit-chat in the chat, so I'm looking forward to going back and reading all about your love for our goopy men. This show airs every Saturday. Next week we will be back with episode 3, but it will be back to the Winter Oak crew. We are numbering them in order, and this will be the order we recommend you watch them in. So if you're just getting into the show and you haven't seen the first episode, go back and watch it. They will kind of tie together. But yeah, I want to thank my players. You guys are all great. I think this is going to be a really fun group. A lot of interesting stuff has happened. Goopy boys, I'll say it again. Yeah, I'm excited. 2 weeks we'll be back with the Cold Iron crew. But until then, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next Saturday for Cold Iron, A Town Called Winter Oak, or Cold Iron Episode 3. Bye!
Bye.